Jai Janendra. I still haven't understood why Mitesh asked me to come and speak to you. एक तो आप लोग माहिर है in starting businesses, in growing businesses. पूरी दुनिया में शायद आप लोगों को बुलाना है to teach how to start businesses. I don't know why I was called here. But since I am here and I see a lot of youngsters, let me take the opportunity of sharing with you. जो मैं आपके साथ share कर रही हूँ, it's not some theory or, किसी किताबों में पढ़ के मैं आपके साथ share नहीं कर रही हूँ. It's more my own experience from teaching and mentoring. We've mentored more than 2,000 entrepreneurs in the last 10 years. A number of them in the startup space. उन लोगों के साथ जो भी मैंने सीखा है, मैं आपके साथ अभी share कर रही हूँ. That's all, okay? So, what is the picture I have there? Can anybody tell me? वो picture में क्या है? एक आदमी है, पत्थर को ऊपर लेके जा रहा है. He's struggling to take it up. Actually, he's not struggling at all. The funny part of the story is he's not struggling at all. He's not putting in an effort. वो ऊपर ले जाने में effort नहीं है. He is, in ancient Greece, he was a king. He was a very powerful king called Sisyphus. बहुत power था उसके पास, लेकिन उसका दिमाग, उसका दिल अच्छा नहीं था. He was not a good king. तो कोई संत ने उसको श्राप दिया, saying, for the rest of whatever X number of years, you will spend rolling a stone up a mountain, and just when you reach the top, वो पत्थर फिर से नीचे आ जाएगा, फिर से आप नीचे आके उसको ऊपर रोल करेंगे, लेकिन कभी भी इसमें सक्सेस नहीं मिलेगा आपको. मतलब the stone will never remain on top. It will keep falling down, and it is your curse that you will have to keep pushing it up, and ऐसे जिंदगी बिताओगे. Why have I got a picture of that on a good occasion like this? Anybody? Any of the youngsters? What am I trying to say? First of all, that entrepreneurship is a journey, right? I think when the senior people, in this crowd, when you all started businesses 40, 50 years ago, it was not a journey. It was a calling for you. Matlab, either you inherited the business from your father, or for your livelihood, you started something and you grew it. In today's internet age, it's no longer that kind of a business is not just for making money, or business is not just to put food on the table for the family. You become an entrepreneur today because you want to go on this magical journey. It's a magical journey. But is it an easy journey? Good things in life are never easy, right? So because it's a magical journey, it is a very, very difficult journey. And at the end of the journey, like Sisyphus, शायद आपको फल भी नहीं मिलेगा. Probably you'll have to come back and start all over again. But there is no harm, because ये जुनून है, right? This is about passion in life. This journey you're undertaking, जैसे आप हरिद्वार जाते हो, it's like a pilgrimage. You're undertaking this journey because it's the be-all and end-all of your life, right? इसी के लिए आप बने हुए हो. And that's the reason why you want to undertake this journey. So when you start this journey, आपको पता नहीं, it may become hugely successful, it may become moderately successful, it may make you sell your last shirt also. इतना failure भी हो सकता है. You don't know what lies in store for you during. So normally people say, even in the entrepreneurial space, normally people say the beginning of the journey is with an idea. कुछ भी idea हो सकता है, something that you have seen in your own environment, and you are saying वहाँ कमी है, and I have this idea to make your life better, and therefore I will, come up with a business. Which is not true, actually. To my mind, the beginning of the journey is not with an idea, but with an attitude. What do I mean by attitude? Anybody? बात करो ना. Why do you want to only keep listening to my voice? What is attitude? One is the junoon to do something, to change the world. Why do I want to change the world? Because mujh mein taakat hai. I have the capability, I have the wherewithal to change the world. What has given me the capability? My parents have given me the capability by giving me education. So I know I can change the world, create meaning in society. Why do I want to do it? Why do I want to change the world? Passion kyun? Kis liye? There has to be some maqsad at the end of passion, no? For betterment, yes. But what else? What is satisfaction? Huh? To earn big money. Agar meri paas abhi gun hoti, main aapko shoot kar deti. Starting point of a journey, of an entrepreneurial journey, is never about making money. Please understand this. If you do everything right, if you have a good product, if you understand your customer's requirement, if you delight your customer, paise apne aap aapke paas aa jayega. You don't, but if you say, paisa banana hai, therefore I'm going to become an entrepreneur, what you will do is you will start shortchanging. You will start cutting corners. You will start cheating your customer. You will start cheating everybody. So, maqsad puri nahi hogi. So, starting point cannot be money. Why do I have this junoon that I want to change the world? What am I looking for in the process? Huh? Brand name. Little more than brand name, thoda beyond marketing jao aap. I want people to remember me even after I'm dead. I want to leave a legacy. Do you all remember Steve Jobs? Has any of you met him? Why do you still, when he died, didn't you shed a ek ajeeb sa laga andar? Arey, takleef hua us time? Arey, achhe bande, acha banda tha, guzar gaya. Didn't you feel that? What the junoon for becoming an entrepreneur, for doing good, for disrupting society, for creating meaning in society, is ultimately because we want to be immortal. We want people to remember us, not just our family members. Shayad family members will only fight over our property, right? We want everybody, people whom we have never met, people who has never met us, but we want everybody to remember me because in some way I touched their lives. I made their lives better. That's the whole reason why, and that's the attitude I'm talking about. If it is any other community, there is also one more aspect of the attitude, and that is, maa baap ko convince karna ki main kuch karna chahta hu. If you look at a typical Brahmin community in India, no, everybody wants a safe, secure job. But in your community, fortunately, that's not the case. You all, I mean, I think you will discourage if somebody says, I will go join Infosys, right? You will say, kyun? You create an Infosys, is going to be your argument. So I think that fortunately that part of the attitude is not applicable to you, but what is definitely and what should be definitely applicable to all the youngsters here is, I want to be remembered not just as my father's son, not as my grandfather's, grandson, or, somebody belonging to a particular family. I want to be remembered for what I, in my individual capacity. Yes, I have the advantage of a family name. I have the advantage of family resources because aap sabke paas resources hai. So your youngsters have all the benefit, but I will use all of this and I will make a name for myself. It is not just that I'm going to relax on the basis of what I have inherited from you people. Next slide, please. Is attitude enough? I said starting point is not idea, but attitude. But is attitude enough? I don't know how many of you are fans of Rafa Nadal. Show of hands? Okay, good number. Do you remember when in one of the matches, Del Potro beat him? And when he finished the match and came out, somebody from the press asked him, how did it feel to be beaten by Del Potro? Because Rafa at that time was #1 seed, and Del Potro, I think, was 9 or 10. So how did it feel to be beaten by him? So Rafa's English is not great, right? So he looked a little sad, he looked a little confused, and he said, very difficult playing Del Potro. He got altitude, he said. Del Potro is 6'6". Because his English is kamzor, instead of saying he's very tall, so, I couldn't play against him, he said he got altitude. In an entrepreneurial context, what is altitude? Scale, the scale of your business. ये नहीं है कि छोटा दुकान खोल रहे हो आप. Internet today gives you possibility. You've heard both the speakers, the previous speaker. Internet throws open huge opportunities for you. Come capex mein, you can build hugely successful businesses. Not like your fathers and grandfathers. Us time, even to start a small factory, even a small dukan, you needed large capital. Today, internet businesses can be started with a 10 lakh seed capital. Right? So you're all sitting on huge opportunity. So what are we looking at? We are saying you already have an aptitude because aapki rago rag mein hai. You're all from a community where I think blood nahi hai, aapke veins mein business hai. You're all already coming here with an advantage. Right? First of all, you have that benefit. Second of all, your parents have been generous enough to give you a damn good education. So you come not just with an attitude, but you also come with an aptitude, right? You have the competence to build, to start and build great businesses. So that's what you should capitalize on. And if you do that, personally and brand-wise, you will all attain huge altitudes. In other words, you will all see huge successes in your business. Next slide, please. How do you choose an idea? Ek to easy route hai to say my father has XYZ business, I will join the company and I will grow the business. Suppose you say, no, my father's business is not glamorous. My father sells steel, plastic packaging straps. I'm not interested in that. I had a mentee actually who said that. Her father used to make steel pipes. So she came and told me. I said, I went and told Papa, they were from a Marwadi family. So she said, मैंने पापा को बता दिया. I said, Papa, I love you, but I don't love your product. I find your steel pipes very ugly. I am not going to get into the business. मेरे को मेरा थोड़ा शादी के लिए पैसा रखा है, उसमें थोड़ा सा मेरे को दे दो, मैं कुछ और करना चाहती हूँ. Right? So you may say, I don't want to join your business because I don't find it glamorous enough. Or I'm educated, there is technology available today. I want to do something completely different. So how do you choose an idea then? I'm glad you said that. So, ek zamana tha, 10 saal pehle, when an entrepreneur's job, I think for the last 50 years also it's been pretty much the same, an entrepreneur's job is to do mix and match. Market में देखो, अच्छा ये products है, लेकिन ये product नहीं है. अच्छा चलो हम ये product बना लेंगे. क्यों बनाएंगे? क्योंकि उसके लिए ज़रूरत है. There is a need for the product, so therefore let us make this product, which has been a very need-based approach. Right? But today's entrepreneur, before Facebook started, did you know you wanted Facebook? So what happened? What did Zuckerberg do? He created the need and he serviced the need. So ek tha zamana, and I never tire of saying this, ek tha zamana when marketeers were told, give the customer what he wants. Right? Then somebody said, no, this is not good enough. Give the customer more than what he wants, right? Today's context, you are saying, no, both are rubbish. Give the customer what he does not even know he wants. And if you see WhatsApp, why WhatsApp? Even a mobile phone, smartphone, did you ever want it? But now that you have it, now that some idiot decided to be smart about it, can you manage? Is there anybody here who does not have a smartphone? I rest my case. So in today's context, how do you choose an idea? You choose an idea not just by noticing a gap in the marketplace. You choose an idea where you are saying, bugger does not even know, bugger in this case is the customer, does not even know what I am going to hit him with. हिल जाएगा वो. दुनिया हिलाने की बात करेंगे तो पहले कस्टमर को हिलने दो. And unless you do that, you won't be able to disrupt the world, right? So how you choose an idea really is based on how much of an impact you want to create in society. And once you choose the idea, please do homework. In the younger generation, unfortunately, doing market research, establishing whether somebody will buy my product is equal to doing Wikipedia. It is not good enough. Okay? Go do research in the marketplace. If there is a potential customer, go ask. If I have a product like this, would you buy? How much will you pay for it? How will it change your life? Go ask all the relevant questions. Then build on the idea. And please remember, when you choose the idea, it has to pass what I call an FSP test. Feasibility, scalability, profitability. If these three are not there, don't touch the idea with a barge pole. Next slide, please. Find yourself a mentor. I am sure amongst all the youngsters here, senior family members are good mentors. But the definition of mentor has changed. Pehle zamane mein, a mentor was somebody who, like me, had gray hair. But that's no longer true. A 21-year-old could be a mentor because a 21-year-old is so good in digital technology that he can teach you to stand upside down. So it's got nothing to do with age and experience. It's got to do with how abreast you are, in terms of knowing about what is happening around you. So why is a mentor important to you? A mentor is important largely for three things. Number one, knowledge. Number two, he can upskill you. He can upskill you in today's new business models. If you ask your father or grandfather, he will tell you how he did business. Now, some of it may be relevant, many of it may be irrelevant, because the world around you has changed today. So find a mentor who can upskill you in building relevant, contemporary, new business models. And the third thing that a mentor can bring to the table is network. If you write to, one of the Bansal saying, hey, I'm interested in starting a company like Flipkart, can I come and talk to you? You think he will reply? Probably he has already trashed it without even looking at it. But if your mentor writes to you saying, hey, I have this mentee who's interested, so can you spend half an hour with him, have a chat with him? You think he will respond? Chances are, right? So the three things a mentor brings to the table: knowledge, that's domain knowledge, upskilling you in the ways of doing business, in creating a new business model, and network. Next slide, please. I don't know how many of you youngsters have even read this book called Creating Business Model Generation, Osterwalder. Please read it. The young and the old can read it. Somebody asked a question earlier about Flipkart, saying they've never made money, but still they continue to attract investment. That he didn't ask, of course. If you look at the current business models, the Flipkarts, the Snapdeals, the Amazons, none of them has made money. As a serious businessman, you must be wondering, kis मूर्ख ने इनको अभी भी पैसा दे रहा है? Because every second day you read in the newspaper, they raised 5 million, they raised 500 million. Who's giving them money if they're not making profit? So business models today have changed to the extent that raising capital is no longer related to your bottom line. It is related to your top line. So if your bottom line is bleeding, it doesn't matter. Because everybody has arrived, the investing community have now discovered a new way of exiting. Even without you making money, the entrepreneur can still make money and the investor can still make money. That's how the business models have changed. Please read Osterwalder, Business Model Generation. He talks about BMC, building 9 building blocks on the business management canvas. Okay, it is very critical. Before you take your product to the market, you should have all your 9 building blocks in place. There are no great financials here. It talks about what are the different ways you will make money. What is your product? Who is your customer? What is your value proposition? What do you mean by value proposition? You still like to only hear me talk. Can't hear. Value proposition, the differentiator. Let's say simplistically, it's the differentiator. Okay? So there may be other players in the market. How are you different from them? There are no other players in the market, then why should I even buy your product when I don't even know how to use your product? Yet, the value proposition defines how I will make your life convenient. You may not be used to it. I don't know how many of you use an app called Urban Clap. Have you used an app called Urban Clap? It's a brilliant app, right? Earlier, we all used to cry if we wanted, a small carpentry job in the house. It was very hard to find a carpenter. But today, all you have to do is go to Urban Clap. A carpenter comes to your doorstep. He quotes a certain amount. If he has to bring material, he'll bring the material. And within the time frame, very neatly, very quietly, without too much of a fuss, the job is done for you. These were all things which were unheard of in the past, right? Those are the emerging business models. Next, please. One of the things I keep hearing in the startup space is, oh, I'm doing a mobile app. I want to hire people. My standard question is, why do you want to hire people? Why? I'm building the company. No, paisa to nahi hai aapke paas. It's not started earning money. So why would you want to hire people right now? And what is the guarantee that you will hire the right people? What is the guarantee that the people you hire will stay with you till the product is developed and taken to market? So what is the other option if I don't hire? That's it. There are 150 companies. It's like Xerox shops these days, photocopying shops these days. Every third building has one app developer. Outsource it. So what's the guarantee that he will develop it? Number one, you're not paying him a salary. When you agree with him, when you do the contract with him, you're paying him based on milestones. Itna itne din mein aisa karoge to itna paisa dunga. Right? So it's purely performance based. And two, typically if it is a company, even if one person shadi karne gaya hai, the other person will take over. You understand? So in today's context, there is absolutely no need to hire everybody. You can partner with everybody whose competence is in that. If you want an accountant, hire a chartered accountancy firm. Partner with a chartered accountancy firm. He will send one guy who's doing an inter-CA or whatever. He will come once a week, once a month, whatever you want, balance your books and go back. You don't need to pay 10,000 bucks monitor, sala kal aaya tha, aaj aaya hi nahi. You don't have all those headaches. If that guy doesn't come from your CA firm, he'll send somebody else. So look for partnering as far as possible. And don't worry about it. You don't have to hire everybody. Next. Legal framework ki to zarurat hai, right? You may decide that I will form. See, one of the things we don't talk about in India, we all complain about things we can't do in India. But one of the things we can beautifully do in India is incorporate a company in 45 days, and all of it is online. I don't know how many of you know this, and I again never tire of saying this. If you want to incorporate a company in Malaysia, it takes you bloody 8 years. In India, it takes 45 days and it is online, no major documentation, nothing. Company band karoge to wo alag baat hai. They'll make your life miserable. But company khologe, it's one of the easiest things in India and it's completely online. You don't have to incorporate a company the moment the idea came to your head, the moment you decided to start something. But as the product develops and you are more confident ki theek aa raha hai, and there is a market for my product, at that point you should look at incorporating a company. As you all know, there are a number of options today. I know as a community, many of you prefer partnerships or proprietorships. The younger crowd, my appeal to you, please move away from these formats. Internet businesses do not lend themselves to proprietorships or partnerships. Either look at an LLP, limited liability. LLP is nothing but partnership with liability limited only to your business. Your, mother's jewelry you don't have to sell if the company doesn't do well. Or a private limited company. Okay? Last year, a new format also was introduced called OPC. one-person company, which is nothing but proprietorship, but with liability limited only to that of your business. So, आपका मकान लेके नहीं जाएंगे कोई भी. Okay? These are important for you to do. Later on, when you go to market, when you're ready to take your product to market, it is very important for you to be able to say, I have a proper legal entity. Not that मैं घर में कुछ कर रहा हूँ. Not that मैं proprietorship model पे कर रहा हूँ. Later on, if you start as a partnership or proprietorship, you will never be able to raise venture capital that Sudhir spoke about, because no investor is interested in either a partnership or a proprietorship model. Next slide, please. And this is very, very important. I think your parents and your grandparents knew this very well. I think they knew it as part of their cultural heritage, that zindagi mein jo kuch bhi karoge, there are two possibilities. You will do well, you will fail. I think they knew that, and they did everything possible to make sure that they did not fail, that they succeeded. But your generation is a little arrogant, right? Because thoda aapko, you've gone out, you've traveled a bit, thoda degree hasil karke aaye ho, duniya dekhe ho, and you are saying, no, I am not going to fail. Do not have that attitude, because failure is a 50% probability whenever you start anything. आप घर छोड़ के सुबह ऑफिस के लिए निकलोगे, there is a 50% probability you will come back home in the evening. There is an equal 50% probability कि कोई लॉरी आपको मारेगा. That is life, and that is a fact of life. So please accept failure as a distinct possibility. Sudhir touched upon this. I will elaborate a little. Just because I started something, I did everything whatever I could do, but my business still failed. Does that mean I'm a failed businessman and I can never start another business again? That's stupid. A failed entrepreneur is very good for both things, as an employee as well as the second round of business. Why? Because he has learned lessons. That is provided he learns lessons. For a company, a failed entrepreneur is brilliant, because as an entrepreneur, you have learned so many things in 1 year that in a company it would have taken you 10 years to learn. So when you join a company, you're a brilliant asset. When you start another idea, you shut down the old company, you started another business, you're still going to be brilliant, you're still going to be successful, because you've already made your mistakes, and hopefully you've learned from your mistakes. But the catch here is, you should be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, last time I made these mistakes, this time I will never make them. Instead of that human tendency, and this is particularly in India, we have a tendency to say, nahi, my idea was brilliant, sala customer idiot tha. पैसे की जरूरत था उस टाइम मेरे को, मेरा बाप ने मना कर दिया, और कोई भी मना कर दिया. Everything was going wonderfully for me, but my whole team left. Stupid. We will blame the whole world, but we will never say, शायद मैंने गलती किया. We will never say that. For some reason, our culture hasn't taught us. I think the mothers are to blame. Mothers pamper the sons so much. I've heard women entrepreneurs very आराम से say, you know what, Nandini ma'am, I made a mistake. इस बार नहीं होगा. But I've never heard a guy entrepreneur say, last time मैंने गलती की. No, Nandini ma'am, इतना wonderful product था, but साले ने मेरे को मार दिया. Whoever that Sala is, right? So I think it's very important. One, you factor failure. Two, you learn from failure. And therefore, you become a huge asset if you want to restart with another idea. Next slide, please. You all know this, right? Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. What are we talking about? Asatoma sadgamaya, from ignorance to knowledge. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya, from darkness to light. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. You remember I said, we want to become immortal. Amrita, we want, people to remember. Same way, when you've started your journey as an entrepreneur, I think your journey should be from arrogance to humility. And I'm re-emphasizing this because with the younger generation, there is a tendency to be a little arrogant. You don't need to be arrogant. And guys sitting here, you have the best of both worlds. You have business in your DNA, you have resources on hand, and you have the knowledge and you have the education. So you're sitting on a wonderful opportunity. Make use of it with humility that God has seen fit to give you. You know, chappal phaad ke aap logon ko diya hai. I think you should be able to build on that. Last slide, please. Again, I'm showing you the same picture. Why? Because entrepreneurial journey is about saying, nobody can stop me. जो मैं करना चाहता हूँ, even if that means I have to try and try and try several times over, I will continue to do it. Why? Because I want not only my tomorrow to be better than my yesterday, I want पूरे दुनिया की tomorrow to be better than their yesterdays. Thank you. Questions?
To social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I'm working for one NGO, is in Mumbai. So I'm volunteering over there. So we are trying to make women empower by providing some business to them. So the thing which we, I mean the hurdle which we get many times, like women are, I mean we work in tribal areas. So the tribal women are not ready to come out and do business about something, because of many reasons, like we know the male dominant society over there and everything. So, I mean, have you ever, I mean, experienced this kind of thing, and what solution you have applied to them? I know this question is not related to the actual topic,
No, that's
but
okay.
but as you are a woman, so I mean, you are mentoring to so many women. So I just wanted to, I mean, thought of asking this question.
Mahima, when she introduced me, mentioned that we've done a lot of work in Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Ghana, Nigeria. You think all these women were educated? I will only tell you about Afghanistan, okay, just to keep it short. 8 years ago, I met these women in a place called Basra, which is about 250 kilometers from Kabul. And Basra is one village, and all the women of that village were left alone with the children. Why? 15 years ago, Osama bin Laden's men came and recruited all their husbands. 15 saal pehle, when they were all recruited, I don't think the women thought that they will never come back. But aaj tak koi wapas nahi aaya. So the women were given a lot of money by Osama's men, saying that ye wapas aane tak rakho. All of them typical Muslims, so all of them have, you know, anywhere between 3 to 7 children. Over the next 8 years, they sustained abuse at the hands of the Taliban. And the worst kind of abuse possible. So shuru mein apparently there were 3,200 women. By the time I met them, there were 2,800. That means 400 of them killed, committed suicide, take your pick. Okay? The worst possible scenario that can happen with them had happened with them. So one day they all sat together and said, the absolute worst that can happen to a human being, chodo that we are women, to a human being has happened to us. Now aur kya ho sakta hai? Let's get organized and let's do something. That's how I got into the picture. So like you, shuru mein I used to sit down with them and ask, कि क्या करते हो, क्या business करना चाहते हो? नहीं, हम लोग तो अनपढ़ है. You know, शादी से पहले father used to protect us, शादी के बाद husband used to protect us. We don't understand business. हमसे नहीं होगा. तो काबुल में ये होता है, the moment you get down from the aircraft, in passport control, they issue the burqa to you. Whoever you are, you have to wear the burqa. तो एक दिन बुरखा लेके गई उनके पास, and I said, ये बुरखा पहनना मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता. Not because I don't want to wear a burqa, but ये बुरखा stinks. पता नहीं किन किन को दिया है passport control में. I don't know who all has worn it, right? So I don't feel comfortable in it. And one of the women said, by the time you come next time, I will make a burqa for you. Okay? And she also taunted me a little, okay? You come from Bangalore, why don't you buy a burqa from Bangalore? I said, no. As a woman, it hurts my sensibility to buy a burqa. I will not buy. But आप बनाओगे तो मैं पहन लूंगी, because I have to wear the burqa there. Next time when I went, she had made a burqa. And the burqa was so beautiful, I said, well, here is the idea. बुरखा बना लेते, अरे नहीं एक बुरखा बना सकते, मल्टीपल्स कैसे बन, और कौन खरीदेगा, क्या प्राइसिंग करेंगे. So I wrote to the Saudi Arabian embassy and I said, you know, women here can make lovely burqas for you. So here was where it got a little interesting. Saudi Arabian embassy came back to me saying, what kind of burqas do you make? So I had to sit all the women down and ask, do you want to make high-end burqas or do you want to make low-end burqas? If we are selling to Saudi Arabian market where there is so much money, we might as well make high-end burqa, right? हाँ ठीक है, high-end मतलब क्या, क्या pricing? I said, cost कितना होगा if we let's say buy a raw silk material and अगर कुछ हम करेंगे, तो what pricing are we looking at? $600? I said, पागल है. We should look at something more than that. Finally convince, argue, fight, convince करके, I said $1,200. And I quoted $1,200 to Saudi Arabian embassy. We got the first order for 60,000 pieces. Then the women said, oh, हमारे पास मशीन नहीं है, हमारे पास इतने लोग नहीं है जो जानते हैं to make the burqa. We overcame all that. See, human mind is something brilliant, let me tell you that. हम बहुत ये बोल देते शुरू में कि ये नहीं होगा, हमसे नहीं होगा, किसी और से भी नहीं होगा. But आप थोड़ा प्रेशर रखोगे और इत्मीनान से आप समझाओगे कि ये कर सकते हैं. In a language that they understand, you can break those barriers. To cut a long story short, number one, we are the world's largest burqa producer today. Okay? Number two, and more important, 2 years ago, we got an order for very fashionable burqas in Saudi Arabia. They wanted 2-piece burqas. Okay? And I said, what pricing are we looking at? So the burqas we sell, 6 years ago, we were selling at $6,000. 1,200 में झिझक था, but we sold at $6,000. So when the 2-piece order came, and I said, what pricing are we looking at? One of the women said, $15,000? And I'm like, why? Suddenly, why are we looking at 15,000? Material कम है, because it's a 2-piece. So material तो हम कम use कर रहे हैं. Why are you increasing it so much? You know what she said? आप ही ने तो बोला, price has got nothing to do with product. Price has got to do with perception of value. If I want to pay, 1 crore for a Mercedes car, I am willing to pay 1 crore. It's not about whether the cost of the car is 1 crore. You understand? So it takes a long time. I spent nearly 2 years with them 8 years ago to get them to understand that business was important. Why did I want them to do business? एक ही मकसद था मेरा. The small businesses they were doing, the women may succeed. This is, I'm talking 8 years ago. They may actually succeed in putting 2 square meals on the table, but will they generate surplus? सबके पास 5-5, 6-6 बच्चे हैं. Will they generate surplus so that the children can study, so that the children can get a better life? No, there was no scope. Which is why I said, let's start a business where, so although we run it as a trust model, the way we have divided it is, every rupee that comes in, we separate. Part of it goes into children's education. Part of it goes into when the women become so old that they can't participate in the activity. But we'll have to look after them, right? So we have separated it. It's a trust as a legal entity for obvious reasons, but we run it as a pure play commercial enterprise. Not once have we borrowed money. Shuru mein, $50 million, $500,000 liye the. That is before I got into the act. Okay? We have not raised money. 3 years ago, we started a hummus and falafel manufacturing unit. We are doing so well that if you go to YouTube and Google Afghan women, they are invited by United Nations bodies to share their commercial success, to share their experience. And if you look at the way the women talk, you'll think they've studied in Stanford or Harvard. Body language itna badal gaya hai. You don't feel they're illiterate women. Why? Because now they have the confidence कि जिंदगी में कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. Now that they have overcome the barrier. I can show you pictures of these women. शुरू में कैसा था उनका body language and आजकल कैसा है. And you will be amazed, absolutely. But it takes a lot of time, effort. Takes a lot of heart, let me tell you that. It also causes a lot of frustration. मैं threaten करती थी शुरू में, मैं नहीं आऊंगी. All of you are useless, मैं नहीं आऊंगी. अरे नहीं बहन, ऐसा मत बोल. अच्छा बोल, क्या कर सकते? You'd give 10 different ideas. नहीं, ये तो नहीं होगा, वो तो नहीं होगा, वो तो नहीं होगा. But today when I look back, I wonder, where did they get it from? And I think my participation in upskilling them was only in the beginning, because now they do a brilliant job of it. Okay, just to end the story, a couple of years ago when we were setting up the hummus and falafel plant, 4 years ago, Lurgi was, the company that was setting it up for us. And one of the guys from Lurgi asked the women, before signing the agreement, saying, I will, be able to set up and commission the plant by such and such a date. So the woman asked him, can we have a penalty clause if you don't, install it in time? So the man got upset. He was a white European, Italian guy. So he got upset. I am this super duper, MBA person from Italy, and you are one unpad aurat from Afghanistan. How dare you talk to me about penalty clause? So he drew himself up and said, of course we can have a penalty clause, provided you give me a bonus clause for timely delivery. The woman looked at him and said, timely delivery ke liye to paisa de rahi hu. So he called me from Kabul and said, where did these bloody women learn to negotiate like this? I said, it comes naturally to women.
Thank you, thank you.